8 Ways to be a 90-Day Fiancé. Colt's journey has been heartbreaking and shocking. He may lose his leg and lost Vanessa. Colt Johnson, star of 90 Day Fiancé, has seen many highs and lows in his life, and now he could lose his leg. Although the contentious franchise star has never had a good heart, it would take a very cold person to wish Colt well at this time. There is a very real risk of amputation. This most recent health setback has the potential to change Colt's life and is just another illustration of his tumultuous and dramatic life journey. As Colt copes with a fresh leg injury, he must be thinking gloomily. He has already experienced a great deal. He has a history of injuring himself. He was bouncing on a trampoline when he had a major mishap in the past. He was filming on both occasions. He can feel cursed, believing that his attempts to make a living will always end in failure. Despite being a divisive character in the 90 Day Fiancé trilogy, Colt has never canceled. It is enjoyable for them to observe him. Colt was filming in Mexico when he was hurt. According to Instagram user John Yates, who frequently shares reality TV scoops, Colt might have to go through a Colt had previously seriously injured himself while filming 90 Day, The Last Resort. His injuries were so serious, in fact, that they made news. The fragility of the human body was highlighted by that initial accident. Everything can change in an instant, leaving a person drastically different from who they were before. Although he appeared to recover, he turned into a recluse ersatz of Howard Hughes, the talented businessman who was portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio in Martin Scorsese's The Aviator. Colt's personality drastically changed when he started to avoid the spotlight. That is what a severe medical condition may accomplish. It looked like Colt might return to his fans as he started to heal, and he did. But he was bound to suffer another injury. This most recent mishap could be even more dangerous. Character is typically developed through these kinds of obstacles, but at what price? Colt is living in fear and anxiety if he is going to have his limbs amputated. This is awful. According to the aforementioned TLC UK YouTube video, Colt's ex-girlfriend Larissa Lima was a huge diva. Her actions revealed a haughty, avaricious, and controlling attitude. To understand Larissa at her worst, imagine Miss Piggy in a blind wrath. Despite her beauty, Larissa lacks some of her attraction because of her unattractive appearance. She still has a lot of charisma, though. Colt was pulled onto a roller coaster when he became acquainted with Larissa. Larissa has a fiery temper. As a matter of fact, Colt has admitted that he typically finds women with fiery tempers attractive. He is drawn to that, but he had to really duck and cover around Larissa. He was occasionally unable to avoid her verbal outbursts and acts of violence. Anyone who gets in the way of Larissa's dreams will suffer because she loves herself. Larissa may be kinder now, but when she was at her worst as a wealth digger, she was sometimes a nightmare, a user driven by conceit and the need for pricey belongings. She wasn't a lady who truly fell in love with a man, not with his body, mind, or face. Rather, her goal was to obtain anything she could from her partner. Clearly, that is the antithesis of true love. In a way, the connection was very close to prostitution and was entirely transactional. Nobody is criticizing Larissa for her decision, though. She wasn't kind. But then, life is different in impoverished countries, and who can blame them for doing whatever it takes to get to America? If someone in the third world, for instance, decides to locate an American partner who makes it easier for them to get food, shelter, and other necessities, is it ethically wrong for them to use such people? Jess Caroline hurled a high-heeled shoe at Colt because he was treating her so poorly. She was provoked, to be sure, but that was wrong. For a while, he surreptitiously cheated on the red-headed Brazilian while dragging her along. In order to have an affair with Vanessa, whom he eventually married, he ended his relationship with Jess. Jess was most likely also a user. She might have been trying to work things out with Colt for a secret reason. She probably wanted to get a green card, but she discovered a way around it after her relationship with Colt didn't work out. She now resides in America after marrying musician Brian Hanvey. Therefore, there are other ways to achieve an objective besides Colt. Women have attempted to take advantage of him, but he has also portrayed the antagonist. I hope he learns anything about life from his sickness. Really, life is too short to waste it emotionally torturing others. He must develop the maturity to discuss issues with ladies. He must develop the ability to speak the truth. His entire life will alter if he is able to accomplish these goals. He will never succeed until he does. Colt appeared to be in love with Vanessa. She captivated him more than anyone else, including the firebrand Larissa. Vanessa actually appeared to be Colt's ideal partner. However, he was unable to sustain his marriage. As a Gemini, Colt is usually a little immature. He is unable to act like a man all the time. Maybe he was psychologically damaged by being over-mothered by Debbie Johnson, who was irritable and possessive. Vanessa seemed to develop a relationship with Debbie, becoming close to the challenging woman. But that connection would sever. Colt's marriage may have ended as a result of mother-in-law problems that started to rip the two apart. This may be the reason Colt desired emotional separation from his mother. It's not like Debbie is a live-and-let-live kind. She desires total control over everyone and everything. In the end, those who are under control manage to rebel. Nobody desires the role of a puppet. Colt might be challenging the legendary Norman Bates, who had severe mother issues in the Alfred Hitchcock movie Psycho. Debbie appears to be a cheerful lady in the Instagram photo above, but there is a shady side to her. Debbie is seen having fun in Las Vegas. She was frequently cruel, domineering, and strange around Colt. Given how incredibly improper her behavior was, it does make sense that he avoided her. He might have thought of Debbie as a monster at times, just as Larissa thought of her as a monster-in-law. Debbie hovered as a mother, but did she love her kid without conditions? Perhaps not. In order to stay in her favor, he had to abide by her strange rules. He would essentially have to let Debbie manage his life in order to make her pleased. Who would consent to that? His relationships ended as a result of her meddling. It might have destroyed her connection with Vanessa, which was the one she treasured most. Colt and Debbie don't have to be best friends every day. It's okay for them to have their own space. They might eventually mend their rift. It's always possible to forgive. But perspective comes with distance. It enables precise situation assessment and improved decision-making on both sides. It can be good and liberating to have space. Colt put a lot of effort into changing his body. The Instagram photo above shows his slimmer face. He has shed 40 to 60 pounds. The news of his following injuries is disheartening, given the drastic nature of his physical makeover. People frequently become less fit when they get sick or hurt. When they're ill or have injuries that limit their range of motion, they need to lie around more. People who don't look like Barbie and Ken dolls are difficult for some people to accept. I'm hoping Colt will fully recover. If he lost his mobility as a result of losing a limb, that would be terrible. Yes, after experiencing such grief, people can go on. There are many happy persons with disabilities. Disabilities do provide additional difficulties, though. Colt's physical transformation was striking. He was seen exercising in his garage on screen. He went all out and drastically reduced his body size. He had previously experienced bullying after being spotted on TV wearing a Speedo bathing suit. People who don't look like Barbie and Ken dolls are difficult for some people to accept. During his marriage to Vanessa, there were rumors that Colt had cheated once more. His past suggests that he might be a habitual cheater. Larissa also accused him of adultery. Colt truly destroyed his marriage if the rumors that he had cheated on Vanessa are accurate. People are not robots, but it is frequently a mistake to give in to the pressure of the moment. They act terribly at times, but they think they're doing what their hearts want. Colt's destruction of his marriage is not unique, but sometimes it's best to let a poor relationship end. Perhaps infidelity is an indication that something is amiss. Relationships without these kinds of problems exist. Not everybody cheats. Colt might perform better in partnerships that are not monogamous. He isn't a good guy, So why act like he is? By acknowledging that he just cannot be faithful, Colt can instead feel free to date people who are also incapable of being faithful. Then, for once, life could be enjoyable. When Colt made the call to leave the house he shared with his mother in search of better opportunities, he came across as callous. Debbie was going to be left with an exorbitant lease. But even if the two were financially involved, it was probably better for them to split up. There had been times when they were pleased, like when Debbie prepared Colt's favorite meals. She even sliced his flesh, but it wasn't all sunshine and roses. The two were just too near. Colt was unable to have an independent life. A mother must eventually take a backseat and allow her child to live. The adult child must be allowed to roam freely. Debbie was never able to cut the strings of the apron. She should have let Colt be himself instead of constantly attempting to control him. He has been incredibly unsuccessful in his romantic endeavors since she taught him that relationships are about dominating other people, which is not a healthy thing to acquire. 90 Days a Tormented Soul, the Fiancé's Colt will hopefully find happiness in the future. Even though his marriage is dissolved and he has severe health problems, there is always hope. Colt can get through a lot of suffering and heartbreak if he has an optimistic outlook. He will be headed in the correct direction when he concentrates on making the decision to be happy. Finding a mate or anything else isn't always the goal. It can simply be developing a strong sense of self, whether or not you are in a relationship. With any luck, Colt will have the opportunity to realize his full potential.